Hi everybody, this is Alice, Bejeweled Hedgehog, here for my vlog. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is lip gloss. See? Ooh, I am wearing lip gloss. And I am wearing lip gloss. This is the lip gloss I am wearing. It's by Pumpkin and Poppy Cosmetics. They can be purchased on Artfire. And this is from the Frankly Scarlet collection. And it is an absolutely beautiful orange, golden orange color. And the reason, well, I mean, I wear it because it looks nice. But I am wearing it in honor of the fact that Veggie Beauty, that is her YouTube username, has decided to quit her day job. I saw this in one of her videos, so I don't know if people, if you don't subscribe to her, you may not know this, and devote herself full-time completely to her cosmetic line. And that is just wonderful because she makes really great cosmetics. They are vegan, they are cruelty-free. Every time she enters, she creates a new line or enters a new product, she will come and do a video about it. So she'll discuss what her inspirations are, any issues that might be of concern to people, for instance including glitter in things, and whether or not it's safe, and how she makes her preparations. And that really impressed me because you get commercials from, the huge cosmetic companies telling you what they want you to hear so you will buy it. But this is wonderful because it's one person who does it. She tells you a lot of things in her videos. And then if you have a question, you can contact her, this one person, not all these different departments and layers of people, and ask. So, I am obviously not a big wearer of cosmetics, but the two things that I do wear a lot are lip colors, and I wear a green, her product is a green powder, and I put it over my face because I have mild rosacea and I have old acne scars, and it kind of tones the pink down. So it's funny because, the two products that I do use come from her company. So anyway, I will put a link to Pumpkin and Poppy down below, and, she made a perfume that I really like. So the line is going to be expanding, and I just wanted to say, yay, for somebody who's following their dreams, and let everybody know. So anyway, so much for that. I swear that there's like some sort of circuit that when I plug in this camera my brain goes dead, which is why I made little notes. Oh, I wanted to say, hi Kathy, you're doing a tea giveaway. Oh, what better thing to give away? The reason you have not gotten a huge response from me yet is I immediately went to the website and started looking at the different teas that are available to choose from, and of course can't decide. So I figured, I'd give myself a day or so to kind of mull it over, and then of course I will come back with a comment and a video. In fact, I may well make up my mind tonight. Not sure yet. Vacillating. They all sound so wonderful, and that was such an inspired idea. But anyway, so that was just what I wanted to say. Hi. And then while we are on the subject of tea, another tea from Argentina. This is Intizen, and it has a whole bunch of different varieties, and the variety that I tried today was Inca Rose. Oh, I loved it. I mean, again, most of these teas are like morning teas for me, because they are black teas, and they have to be done for me before noon. Otherwise, I won't sleep for, I don't know, a month. But anyway, it's a blend of black tea from Ceylon, scented with the essence of pure Italian bergamot and rose petals from Patagonia. This clear amber infusion has a sweet and wonderful taste. Inca Rose is sensual and delicate, is a sensual and delicate Earl Grey tea with exquisite flowery bouquet for the perfect afternoon. It's absolutely beautiful, and I love it. Oh, this just, I can smell all the teas blending together through the box, and it is an amazing scent. Okay, oh, a little haul, I guess. I did two things this evening. I went to the library, and I stopped by Michael's because I am needed to pick up a couple supplies for just a few more of the birthday presents I am working on. And I guess before I get into the haul, I will talk about Mod Podge. Yeah, the reason I went to Michael's was because I used to love to do collages for fun, and I just kind of got out of it. And I've noticed that a lot of people are doing crafts other than, crocheting and knitting at the moment. And I had thought, oh, I'd like to do collages. So I bought 2 cardboard boxes, one for each of the birthday nieces, and I wanted to cover them with my own collages, and then give it to them as keepsake boxes. And that's when I realized I did not have an outer coating. Mod Podge is a great glue, and Mod Podge is a great medium for holding things in place. And let me show you the piece of jewelry that was not a disaster and how I use it. Okay, this is one of my big pendants. What we're looking at aren't so much the beads, but it's the picture, and I don't know how to get this in really good focus. This is like a collage. It's altered art jewelry, and it's a background, and although you can't really tell because I tried to do it carefully, it's a bottle of perfume. I'll never be able to get this coordination right. A bottle of perfume and a rose side by side, and then there are color coordinated crystals. And then this thing up here, although it's kind of hard to see because of the glare, is a little filigree butterfly. And the way I do these is I use Mod Podge, just the standard Mod Podge, to glue them to the pendant in the different layers. Then I'll put down, a little fresh coat of Mod Podge and use tweezers to drop on the crystals. And the Mod Podge holds them in place. Now, it would not be a permanent glue. I would not wear it with just that. But then I use a product called ice resin, and it is a real resin. Ice resin is supposed to be some of the least toxic and stinky, but that's still relative. I still turn on the kitchen fan, and I still open the dining room window no matter what time of year it is, because it still makes some fumes. And for the smaller charms, I will pour it over, and it makes, resin is like a plastic. It makes a very hard seal. And for something like this, where I want a little more of a like old-fashioned and kind of whimsical texture, I will put on less resin and then take a brush and go over it and just kind of make little swirls and little strokes, which you cannot see because of the glare. Then the resin is protective. It waterproofs it. I mean, I wouldn't go swimming with it or put it through the dishwasher, but it's pretty strong. And resin is not tacky. This doesn't stick to anything. Okay, so that was jewelry success. This was one of my first attempts at the the paper craft jewelry, where you take it's actually technically the word for it is altered art jewelry, where you can use pictures and things to make your own charms. And I know it's kind of hard to tell, but these charms I made from Sculpey clay, just one big square to be the main picture. And that's a little kitty. You can't really tell because, as you can see at the bottom, it's all ripped up. Then it had little ponds of water, some with fish in it, on the back. And I used the Mod Podge to hold the glue in, and it doesn't get any better when I hold it closer. And I had a sheet of notebook paper from one of those really cool little decorative Japanese notebooks. And I cut out these adorable little kitties. Nyanko kitties. And then I cut out the ponds with fish and put them on the back, and I mixed in some glitter, very slightly iridescent, which of course you can't see in the Mod Podge. And I made my bead charms, and I put a little fish charm on it, and I thought that this was the absolute perfect design. But the Mod Podge is still tacky. This stuck to everything. The charms in the jewelry box stuck to each other, and pieces of the paper just ripped right off. It was sticky and tacky, so if it looks dirty and dingy, that's because it is dirty and dingy. And it attracted dirt like crazy. And I have to be careful what I put it next to because it will stick to things. So that was the hard lesson learned, and that was when I went online and figured out that for little things like these charms, the resin is the best. Now, I don't do resin casting, but resin tends to, it's a little thick. So if you pour it over, and then maybe let it dry for just a few seconds and add another coat, you can either keep it very flat, or you can even kind of mound it up in the middle to give it that sort of rounded look, which I think works very well on the circular charms. So I solved my problem of Mod Podge being a tacky disaster with jewelry. Now this obviously, I'm so disappointed in, the charms getting ruined. I have some other Japanese note papers, and what I'm thinking I'm going to do at some point is, these charms are sort of history, but I'll make some more little Sculpey charms, add some different little pictures. I still like the beads, little pictures that will match the beads that are already here, and then do my resin thing. So anyway, when I went to do a collage, there is a point to showing all this jewelry. I figured, yes, I'd go back to my good old Mod Podge to hold things in place. I would use Mod Podge as a medium if I wanted to if I wanted to mix glitter into it, and also, as a temporary, hold in place until I positioned any little things I wanted to stick to it, because you can pull things off Mod Podge and then put them back down again. However, I then realized, I can't coat the box in resin. That's just, I don't think it would be particularly attractive. So I went to Michael's and I looked around, and I found a spray finish that's, supposedly good for, it's a good for all crafts. So I'm going to give that a try because, Mod Podge is just a disaster. If anybody else does crafts, on a larger scale, I guess, actually, too, I'm thinking about my Smash books. What should I put on the fronts of them after I'm done with whatever painting and doodles and gluing that I want to kind of seal it, but not that Mod Podge. It just doesn't work. It never dries. Anyhow, okay, so much for that. That's my Mod Podge rant. So I went to Michael's, and while I was there, my youngest niece was with me. We found these adorable notebooks, and they have this cute little girl on the front, and it says, "It's fancy rather than taste," which produces so many new fashions by Voltaire. And of course she's wearing an outrageous outfit. And my middle niece, the one I took with me, the 13-year-old niece, and I are very well known for having our own fashion sense and just going with it regardless of what anybody else thinks. So these were in the $1.50 bin, and they're really cool. They have a little elastic band, so they would be perfect to go down in my purse and not get, all mushed. And of course it just has plain lined paper in it. But I just thought it was so neat. We found something that suited our personalities perfectly, so now we each have one. So that was my Michael's trip. And now on to the library haul. I checked out 2 books. This one is by Iris Johansson. I don't know if, people read her. She writes mysteries. They're kind of like thrillers, and she has a whole series, and one of the main characters, Eve Duncan, has, throughout all the books, there's been the theme that her 7-year-old daughter disappeared. And this book, called Bonnie was her daughter's name, apparently is the book where they're going to confront that particular mystery and tell you what happened to the daughter. And it's got, the print's fairly large. I mean, it's not a big print book, but it looks like it's not a really in-depth, complex book. So even though I have so many things I want to read and I have other library books I want to get to, I was just really intrigued to see, how are they going to deal with it? Is Bonnie going to come back? She was missing, never found. Is she going to be actually dead and they're just going to find out what happened? So I was just too curious. This will be a quick read, which I will begin Tuesday after all the birthday stuff is done. But I'm really excited to find out what happens. And this one just looked interesting. It's by Helen Grant. It's called The Glass Demon, a novel. And it's one of these books where the way they put the label on the back, I can't read the entire back easily, but it says teenager Lynn Fox is a stranger in a strange land, Germany, where her father has come on a chaotic quest to locate a priceless artifact. The medieval and possibly mythical Allerheiligen stained glass is believed by some to be lost, others to have been destroyed, and by virtually all to be haunted. A mysterious, can't read it, persuades Dr. Oliver Fox that he can be the one to find it, but, again it's cut off here, Oliver's contacts is mysteriously drowned. Both bodies surrounded by shards of colored glass, a dark superstition, can't read it. Lynn embarks on her own search to find the glass. As her life something resemble the grimmest of fairy tales, she realizes that what find is not only the truth about the legendary glass, but something the lives of those she loves. So anyway, it looked quite intriguing, even though a big part of it was cut off by the little sticker they put on. And, it was called a mesmerizing page turner. So after I finish reading both of these books, I'll do, little reviews and let you know what I think. And then, of course, I had the book club in mind, and the library always has a book sale. And me being me, I printed out a list of all the books so far, all the 24, and I took it with me to the library book sale, and I found a kind of battered copy of Maximum Ride. It's one of the former library books. But, considering I'm going to be buying so many books for the book club, I am not that picky. So anyway, I now have Maximum Ride, and I'm very excited about this. I walked right in and picked up Nicholas Sparks, The Lucky One. And The Mermaid Chair is on our list. I got the hardback for $1, by the way. And it's in amazingly good condition. So, very happy about this. And then I had not read either of her books. I also had not read The Secret Life of Bees. And this was here. And I decided I would go ahead and get that too. It's not part of the book club, but I might as well read it. And I just think it's kind of funny. On the back, it shows the original price was $14. Then apparently it's been through a used bookstore because it has one of these little, orange tags on it, used or discount, saying $4.95. And then apparently it's been turned in yet again because it has the $1.50 price of the library book sale. So I just think this was funny. In terms of being green, this is a very green product. It has been through several different readers, and no more trees had to die. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, kind of feeling some birthday pressure, but I got one poncho for Beanie done, and if I don't get everything done, it will not be the end of the world. So I'm just going to stay calm and philosophical. It wouldn't be that difficult to get the second poncho finished, except my car is behaving really badly and I need to get a new one. So this Sunday I am going to go test drive a couple of cars with my brother-in-law. And I mean, I know considering I'm getting a new car, I haven't really said much about it in my vlogs. And that's because I really am not much of a car person. I want one that runs, that is reliable, that is good on gas, that is good for the environment. Yeah, it gets me from one place to another place, and hopefully it will not break down. I had a great disappointment. I always bought used cars up until I bought my most recent car. My most recent car is a 1999 New Beetle. It is the car, I bought it 1 year after they started making the New Beetles. And to be completely honest with you, it was a very bad car choice. I picked it without a lot of research or consultation with anybody. And basically, Volkswagen had a car called a Golf, which did not get overwhelmingly high ratings, and they modified it a little bit and dropped the cute round Beetle body on top of it and called it the New Beetle. And that thing had problems from the beginning. For one thing, the windows in it are huge, and the motor was just not designed to hold the windows up. And they were forever breaking. The motors would just burn out, and I would go to raise my window and it just wouldn't go up. Now, that was covered under warranty because it seemed to be a design flaw. But, there's still a limit to, when you realize the sky is darkening and it's raining and, you've got to run and tape up your window because you put it down so you could, drive through an ATM at one of the drive-thrus at the bank, and you realize it's not going back up again. It's a pain in the butt. Plus other things. I will speak freely about this. I do not like the Volkswagen dealerships in my area, and I do not care, if this is bad advertising or whatever. Basically, the most heartbreaking part of this story is I had the new car for 6 to 9 months, not very long. And I did everything I was supposed to, all the servicing, because I was so thrilled to have a new car and so thrilled with the concept that if I do all the regular maintenance, then I should not have any problems. No suspicious noises while I'm driving around the Beltway and I'm not near an exit or anything like that. So my tragedy with the car begins when I drove a perfectly running, beautifully running. I mean, the flaws with the windows and blah, blah, blah were waiting to happen. But I drove it in for one of my first routine maintenances, and I dropped it off. And I hadn't been very wise about, in my sales contract, writing in loaners or any stuff like that. So basically, they had a shuttle that took you to the rental car place, and you just had to rent your own car. Lovely. But anyhow, so my sister was driving me back, and I think the dealership had already closed, and yeah, because there was no one there. I'm not sure how that worked. How did I get the key? Oh, I think I know what they did. You drop off the valet key, and then they lock it in the trunk or something, and then you use your regular keys to drive the car home. But anyway, my sister dropped me off. She didn't linger. Why on earth would she linger? This is a brand new car just in for routine maintenance. I turn the engine on. Engine turns on fine. It's an automatic transmission, but, I had trouble getting it to go in reverse, and then I had some trouble getting it to go forward, and it just lurched forward like a little drunken rabbit. I couldn't get it out of the parking lot. The transmission was shot. I had to call her on the cell phone and tell her to come back and get me. And I tried to get back into a parking space, and I couldn't. I just wasn't going to fool with it. So I walked back and wrote them a note and, shoved the key thing in the night drop. And that was where it all went straight to hell. First I heard, oh, there's no real problem with your transmission. You have a chip, and when they were cleaning your engine, they got some acid on it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? I'm like, fine, well, whatever they did wrong, just make sure I have a beautifully running car when I come back. I'm really unhappy. There was no sympathy, no real explanation as to what had gone wrong. To this day, I don't know. I got the car back, and it ran okay. But I always had trouble when, if I'm going slowly, before this never happened, because near my home there's like a traffic light and you sometimes have to stop and then make a right turn and go up a slight incline from a stop. So you're accelerating and you're accelerating uphill. And prior to this incident, my car never had any trouble with that, ever. After this incident, it would always like rev up real high. You'd see that little, how fast the engine is going gauge, go up really, really high, and then it would drop down, and then the gear would shift. And it's like, so I have dealt with issues, transmission issues on and off, with no responsiveness from Volkswagen. I would never buy another Volkswagen under any conditions, any place, anywhere, anytime. And the other thing they did was, yes, this is my fault, I guess, because I should have read and, looked into Maryland law and all this stuff. They told me that if I have my car fixed anywhere other than an authorized Volkswagen dealership within my warranty period, I will void the warranty and I won't be covered anymore. So I kept going back and back and back to those two crappy dealerships. And it wasn't until the warranty was nearly expired that I found out from somebody, and I do not know if this is just a state law or if this is a much broader law, but at least here in Maryland, that what the Volkswagen dealership told me is illegal. There's some kind of certification. You see it hanging outside of service stations, ACE, something. Anyway, there's something that means you're certified, and the Maryland law says if you have your car fixed by a certified mechanic, that is okay. They still have to honor your warranty. Now, obviously, you can't sit there in your own garage and take apart your own engine, but which I wouldn't do anyway. But if I could have gone to any number of other places and gotten second opinions, and I didn't know that. I was stuck between the two dealerships. Anyway, this video is getting way too long, and yeah, I was just, the whole new car experience was not a happy thing for me. I am probably going to go for a new car this time because both my sister and brother-in-law had wonderful success stories. My brother-in-law has a Toyota Camry from about 20 years ago, and he did all the maintenance. Now, he didn't always take it to Toyota, but he has always kept it maintained, and only now, after having had the car for 20 years, is he getting ready to buy a new one. My sister has a Subaru, I don't know what kind it is, but it's a hatchback, that she has had for close to 15 years. Very, very, very happy with it. And, they strongly recommend going ahead and getting the new cars, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. But you know what? This time I'm going to take my brother-in-law with me from the start, because I think that the car dealership people did push me around a little bit. They certainly lied to me. And, I really I hate to think that the world is still this sexist, but I think people are more afraid when it comes to things like cars. I think they're more afraid to lie to men than to women. And one of the problems I have too is I'm genuinely not interested. I know they have all kinds of spiffy little extras they can put on cars, and I really don't want them. And I keep trying to tell these salespeople, no, I don't care if it has whatever tire rim things. I want tires that are reliable and sturdy and a well-known brand, and that roll around on the road. Leave me alone. And they just tend to reword it and then try and get me to buy it all over again. So anyway, with any luck, if my brother-in-law is there when I test drive the cars and buy the car, and I've also been told that you can, if you are, forceful, that one of my friends has had written into his sales contract for years that he gets a free dealership loaner while his car is being repaired. So that there is no, shuttle to the rental place, none of that, time, that annoyance. They may not give you the best and the newest, but if it's a car and it runs and I just go from one spot in the dealership to another to get it, that's good enough for me. So, yeah, wish me luck this weekend. Pray for me. I am not the world's happiest person when it comes to cars. Um, that's it for now. Tired. Need to make poncho. I think since I've already rambled on far too long, I will give you an update on my cousin and my eating for the week, tomorrow or whenever I do my next vlog. So anyway, everybody have a good night and a great weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye.